Welcome, as Gabe would say. We are fashionably late, as always, on brand with First Round Fantasy. What's going on, everybody? Jacob Bartley here. Gabe is on the way. Don't worry. You don't have to sit through a boring morning with just me. Gabe will be here soon, but we just wanted to get things going here since we don't have that much time until kickoff. What's up, Tyler? I see you in the chat. Coach Coop is here. What's up, man? Star Drew's here. Man, I am so hyped for today's game. Today's games, like all the games. Oh, yeah, me too. There's some great matchups this week. Cincinnati and Kansas City. There's obviously San Francisco and Miami. I'm excited for the Chargers and Raiders game. Like that, there's a lot of good games this week for sure. Gio's in the house. What's up, Gio? Pickens versus Atlanta or Evans versus New Orleans. That comes down to one. Well, first of all, I'm leaning Pickens, but it comes down to one thing. Is Lattimore healthy? Let's see here, because we know the history of Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. And let's see. Saints have... I don't see official update. If anybody knows if Marshawn Lattimore of the Saints is playing today. So him and Mike Evans have a long history. And last time they played, they were both ejected from the game and Mike Evans was suspended for a game. So that being said, either Lattimore is going to shut him down or there's a possibility Mike Evans gets ejected. So... And on top of that, Mike Evans hasn't been great as of late, and him and Tom Brady don't seem to be playing as well together as, let's say, Chris Godwin and Tom Brady are. So I wouldn't lean Pickens, but definitely check in on that Marshawn Lattimore situation, because if he's not playing, then I might go Evans, to be honest. So we'll see. Thanks for that question, Gio. Gio also follows up with Flex 2, Zay Jones versus Detroit, Pickens versus Atlanta, Kyron Williams versus Seattle, Jerry Jeudy versus Baltimore, DeAndre Carter from Sac State, baby, Stingers up, DeAndre Carter versus Las Vegas, or Madison, just cause. Definitely not Madison. I love Alexander Madison, but he's obviously, like, this year it seems like he's been the backup for Dalvin Cook ever since he's been in the NFL. But this year it seems like he's getting less play even as the backup. Like in years past, I feel like not a flex option, but like you could throw him in there if you had to, if you had nobody else. Like he got enough production to like possibly get a touchdown or get you 8 fantasy points. It doesn't feel like that lately. Anyways, flex 2 of these. It's hard not to say Zay Jones, but let me go through these real quick. Okay, I would definitely go Pickens would be in there for sure. Then you're just deciding from the rest. I like Kyron Williams this week. I don't know what else that offense has, and they're playing against Seattle, which is friendly to the running backs. So I think that you can consider him. Judy's just coming back again from an injury. I actually got to check a lineup that might have Jerry Jeudy in it myself, but I would wait on Jerry Jeudy, just especially because, like, look, if Russell Wilson was straight up killing it and Jerry Jeudy was in, yeah, Jeudy. But honestly, I would go Zay Jones. He's been hot, and I would go George Pickens. Out of these selections right here, even though I would love to throw in some Sac State love with DeAndre Carter, but not in this situation. Gabe, welcome.
Good morning, Jacob. How are you?
Good morning. You want to jump in on this one? Gio asked Flex 2. Zay Jones versus Detroit, Pickens versus Atlanta, Kyron Williams versus Seattle, Jeudy versus Baltimore, or DeAndre Carter versus Las Vegas.
Definitely riding the hot hand with Zay Jones. Zay Jones mentioned it just a couple of weeks ago, or just on last week's podcast. They had the bye, but in between that bye, Before it, 11 targets. After it, 11 targets. He's been seeing a lot of volume, like Zay Jones there. And I also like Pickens at Atlanta as well. Sorry, I had to process that name.
I went with Zay Jones and Pickens. So if we both chose the same,
then you must know that it's fantasy gold. It's good choices for sure.
What do you say if we're right, Gio, send us $100 each? That's right. That's Gabe's saying, right?
That is my saying precisely, guys.
Yes. Here, I'll hand the baton to you, Mr. Host.
Oh, yeah. What are we doing today, man? We're just relaxing. It's first round fantasy. Oh, there we go. Bunch of wackadoodles here. Yeah, only Jacob. Jacob, let's just say
wackadoodles.
You're a mind reader, Jacob. You're a mind reader. But thank you. That's producer Jake. And we also got producer Gio in the chat. Hopefully my guarantees don't backfire like Chuck. I don't know who Chuck is, but sure. Jacob, do you know who Chuck is?
Chuck, I don't know.
Okay,
Chuck Gio. Norris? Oh.
Chuck, I think Sean Hill says,
or Charles Barkley? I don't know.
Sean Hill says, there are 2 teams in my league, No Way Mahomes and Running Up That Hill, that I've scored more points than, but their record is way better than mine. Why is life unfair? Hey, it happens. And also, I'm just now realizing in the moment that this is someone who I've never met before, but he's in one of our leagues. Jacob, he's in your family league.
Sean, all right, I was literally just talking about this 10 minutes ago with DeMont. Let me just say something about the future of fantasy football. The future of fantasy football is going to be where every week you have 2 matchups. One matchup against your opponent and one matchup against the weekly average. So every week you'll be tallying up 2 wins or losses against your record. Jacob. It's not that complicated. Just think about it. Let it sink in. It's the future. And that will solve that problem. That'll solve that's the problem with these teams. I have a situation. I'm the 3rd highest scorer in the league, and I'm in the 7th seed, and I barely have a chance to make the playoffs. So, and Gabe, I know you're in one of those situations as well. You have been all year.
I am in one of those situations.
You had to fight your way back up the standings, and yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think that's the way to solve it. And Sleeper actually allows that feature. So,
Sean, at least you're in the playoff hunt. Unlike last year in our famous beer drinkers league, led the league in scoring, did not make the playoffs.
I wonder if anyone's
happens to everybody, but
interested in Cleveland versus Houston today. You think anyone's interested in that game?
Oh, of course. I'm all for it. What are we talking about, though?
I'm just in general. Like, anything exciting going on in that game?
Oh, my gosh. You mean the return of Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so I put up a YouTube poll just last night, and I wanted to get an idea of what fans, our subscribers thought about the return of Deshaun Watson and what his production was going to look like. And you know what, Jacob, we can leave it. We could technically read it live on air if you want to, because it's kind of cool. We can do that now. We have live polls. Let's see. I said, what was the stat line we can expect from Deshaun Watson in his debut with the Cleveland Browns? And I threw out, technically what I really did do is I looked at Jacoby Brissett's best games and worst games and just copied those numbers to see if we can get some type of average. And the majority out of the 14 votes, but hey, that's enough to have a small sample size, actually preferred the lesser option today. 17 for 28, 278 yards and a touchdown to go along with an interception. So they're expecting some rust on the tires. I'm expecting some rust on the tires as well. Jacob, your thoughts on Deshaun Watson's homecoming today?
Yeah, I'm torn on that because, yes, in general, I would expect him to be rusty. But what do you think's going on in his mind? What do you think he wants to do?
I don't think he wants to play football.
I think of course he does.
Oh, it was a sick joke. Never mind.
Oh, but you're saying he'd rather be doing something else than playing football?
No. Probably. It was a joke. Continue with your analysis.
He wants to lay the smackdown on the Houston Texans and vice versa. I bet you they want to lay the smackdown on him. So I don't know, man. I could see this being one of those games where, like, if Cleveland is like beating Houston, like they just keep scoring. I could see that type of situation here. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see for sure. Well, Dameon Pierce is my dark horse for the pick this week. He's in that game And if you listen to that video clip, I don't expect it to be all rainbows and sunshine with Deshaun Watson's return. I think it's going to be a little rusty to start. That's where I think Dameon Pierce is going to get the bulk of his workload.
You want to get back to that
production.
FanDuel question here?
Let's do it. Did you just cut me off, Jacob?
Comment? No, right. I don't want to forget about this because you brought it up and then we didn't start talking about it.
FanDuel picks of the week: Trevor Lawrence, McCaffrey, P. Ryan, AJ Brown, Christian Watson, Joshua Palmer, Noah Fant, David Montgomery, and the Jaguars defense. Oh, very nice. I also put together a DFS lineup this week, if you saw one of our clips. But I can't lie. That is affordable. It looks like you went Trevor Lawrence was probably one of the budget QBs. This looks like the 1 p.m. slate of games here. McCaffrey, you probably spent some money on. P. Ryan was a budget, especially with the news just now that Mixon's going to be out. So he was probably on a budget there. AJ Brown was you probably spent P. Ryan. Yeah, you probably spent money on AJ Brown. Christian Watson was a budget. Joshua Palmer should have been a budget. Noah Fant is definitely a budget. David Montgomery, probably mid-tier Jaguars defense. But hey, I like it.
Hey, P. Ryan and Palmer are great bargains, to be honest, because Palmer's not being priced as the number 2 in LA, but he is.
Yeah, Mike Williams just can't stay healthy. But Jake, not bad at all. Not bad at all. He also follows that up with Gio is a producer now too. What has he done?
Wait, did you call him producer Gio? Is that why you said that?
We got producer Gio.
I don't call him producer Gio, by the way. That's just how do I point this way? That's a Gabe thing.
Well, I'm sorry, but he provides us a studio to shoot in, and anybody that provides us a studio to shoot in is a producer.
Yeah, well, he let us record at his house, and he also contributed to helping build our set.
He's our set designer.
One table and just one banner. That's it. He gave us some what are those called? The pins.
I want to follow it up. That new logo is going in the trash.
No.
And Gio says game, recognized game. I love the back and forth.
Hey, I already saved the logo, Jake, so there we go.
Hey, shout out to producer Jake and set designer Gio. Maybe that will calm him down. But we got some love in the chat for Tyler Cooper. Gio's on fire. Let's get to Star Drew here. I would have chosen the Falcons defense this week. They're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not a bad play. Kenny Pickett, since he's come in, led the league in interceptions. But can he do it against a weak Atlanta Falcons secondary? Not a bad pick there, Star Drew. Steelers are not getting more than 10 points. That's where I have to disagree. Steelers are definitely going to get more than 10 points. Najee's healthy. He's playing. That run defense is atrocious down there in ATL. Najee's going to look to have a solid game. I think the stat line for this game, Star Drew, throw it up. Let me know the stat line for the Steelers and Falcons today. But I'm going, because I never get to go first. I'm going Steelers 26, Atlanta Falcons 24. It's going to be a close game there. Tyler Cooper, he's going to ask the ref for a message. Massage.
Hey, my goodness.
G-rated chats here.
Okay.
If it's a female referee, I don't know. But see, I don't want to get into
let's just stop that there.
All right, Star Drew, Jags and Lions. It's a total shootout this week. Yes, it definitely is. I like that game a lot. I also like this as a bounce back game for Jared Goff, who's kind of ran off into the limelight over the last couple of weeks. But I really like him in a matchup against the Jacksonville secondary. Star Drew says, and really tough pick who wins. Yeah. What's your spread on the Jags and Lions game? Let us know in the chat. Star Drew is always a fan of that. Let us know in the
Star
chat.
Drew needs to go to Vegas and start making some bets. I guess you could just do it on your phone now. Is online betting legal in Canada? That's a great question to ask.
Jacob, we have breaking news. He's editing the new logo right now. Poof, it says no more. And there's the frown faces coming in. The chat is sad. I'm sad. It's a sad day. I don't know.
Okay, Jake, next time we record live at Gio's, you come over. You can design our set. I would prefer that, but up to you, man. Up to you.
Up to you, man. We appreciate you nonetheless. You are our guy. And he also comes back with a question. Miles Sanders or Zeke this week?
Yeah.
I'm probably going Miles Sanders here.
Yeah.
Jacob, what about you?
I mean, the clear reason, regardless of matchup or anything, the clear reason is Zeke is the 1B in Dallas, and Miles Sanders is the 1. in Philly.
Miles Sanders does have a really tough matchup against the Tennessee front line. A little nervous about that, but no. I like him a lot more than Zeke this week.
I just want to hold on a second. I've been such a crapper on, I don't know what that means, on Miles Sanders his whole career for fantasy. Okay. I've been such a pessimist about Miles Sanders his whole career regarding fantasy. I just want to give him, credit for this year. He's finally just killing it this year. So shout out to Miles Sanders.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, no. Yeah, definitely Miles Sanders. Thanks, producer Jake, the best producer in the world, who's certainly not going to trash a new logo anytime soon. Thank you. We appreciate you. Jacob, we got some start sit questions to answer here. Most notably, let's go to the booth. I have some start sit questions for myself. I'm not playing you this week, but I'm not going to tell you what league we're in.
We are playing, but
we're not
that league.
Yeah, we're not playing in this league, and I'm on the fence here. I am staying in my guns with my dark horse this week, Dameon Pierce. I also have Najee Harris, and in my flex I have Travis Etienne and Garrett Wilson. But is there a world where Isaiah Pacheco can fit into that scenario? I think not. I just don't know what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing week in and week out. Isaiah Pacheco's had multiple weeks now with at least 15 carries, and he found the end zone in one of them. I read an interesting article the other day where they said in last week's game, Pacheco had 8 goal line carries and only converted on 1, and that might be a sign that he's not going to get any more. He's out of my lineup. Should I move him in and take out Travis Etienne, who's dealing with an injury, Garrett Wilson, Najee Harris, Dameon Pierce? I can't. Dameon Pierce seems like the only logical reason here, but I'm not going to do it because I have to put my foot down on my dark horse this week. I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so Dameon Pierce, and what were the other options?
Najee Harris, Garrett Wilson, and Travis Etienne.
So you're deciding on who to start between those?
Yes.
So you're only starting one of them?
No, I'm starting 4 of them, but Isaiah Pacheco is the odd man out. So I want to know.
Oh, yeah. No, I would
keep Isaiah Pacheco
I would leave Pacheco on the bench. I'm leaving him on the bench in the one league that I have him in too. Just because I don't feel, confident in him this week, and I think there's better options. But, I mean, I like him overall. He's become solid.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that was mine. Jacob, you get any? I guess while you think, thank you for coming out. Be sure to hit that like button. It does so much for us. It's just so pleasant to see nice likes there. We're going to start doing giveaways, Jacob. Like if we get 10 likes, we're giving you so Jacob, are you familiar with Avid terms? Like Avid, like the program Avid, like in education? Because we're both teachers.
Yeah.
So in Avid, they give you like very specific celebrations, like the cheese grater,
wow,
or the hamburger, just weird stuff like that. Maybe we should integrate that. Maybe people will like it. Anyways, while you're thinking again, Tyler Cooper comes in the chat. Tyler Johnson or Randall Cobb. Dobbs is out.
We're talking desperation flexes.
So let's look at the New York Jets first. Michael Carter, he's out this week. We have, I think his name is Xavier Knight, came on last week, 14 for 103, 17 for 103, had a great game. That was without James Robinson. Now, even before Michael Carter went out, they were still doing a 3-back committee. Ty Johnson was in on all third downs there. He even got a little bit of run, a little bit of pass game. So with James Robinson activated this week, you can probably still expect a 3-headed monster, maybe with that Bam Knight guy taking the helm here. And then you also have Randall Cobb on the other side. Banged up Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Dobbs is out. It's tough. It's tough because it's literally bottom of the barrel type guys here. No offense, Tyler, but these are the decisions we have to make when we're fighting for a playoff spot. And 5 points could be the difference in winning or losing a game. And that's what these guys are probably bound to get you, right? So I think here what we look for is touchdown upside. And Randall Cobb caught his first touchdown of the year just last week. Maybe there's some momentum in that. I like Randall Cobb here. That's my pick. Jacob?
Interesting. I don't know is James Robinson active? I thought he wasn't.
Active.
He's
No, I'm pretty
active?
sure. I'm pretty sure. Let's find out.
No,
Let's
I
get
don't
some
think
news
he
here.
is actually. So,
If he's not, then Ty Johnson is
yeah. So
definitely.
if James Robinson is not active, I would go Ty Johnson. But if he is, then that's just too many. You got Bam Knight, Ty Johnson, and James Robinson.
Yep, James Robinson confirmed by Tyler Cooper and myself. He is
Okay.
active today. He's active
That one's
today.
tough. But yeah, I mean, old reliable Randall Cobb, can't go wrong. Yeah, I do have one which I've been struggling with all
Thanks,
week.
Tyler, by the way.
And let me make sure we're not
Hashtag
playing real
listen
quick.
to coach. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
we're not playing. So Christian Kirk, who had a disappointing game last week, but he's playing Detroit.
Sure.
Or Rachaad White, who had a great game last week, but is playing New Orleans.
Is Leonard Fournette out this week? He is a true game time decision. That's what we have to focus on here.
Oh, and it's a Monday night game.
And
too.
it's a Monday night game. So this was a dilemma I was having in another one of my leagues as well. And, if he plays, you have to bank on the fact of what kind of workload can we expect from Leonard Fournette. If he's getting 12, 14 carries, that immediately limits Rachaad White's carries, but he still has that passing down game on lock. And Christian Kirk takes on Detroit this week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Vulnerable secondary. Yes, he had the down week last week. Man, Jacob, that's tough. That's tough. I want to look. It's hard because we don't do flex rankings, but I'm looking at my rankings, and
yeah. So I'll tell you where I'm leaning and I made the decision midweek. I'm going Christian Kirk. And this was I even made that decision thinking, oh, Fournette's going to be out.
Wow, really?
Only because I think that, I mean, for some reason, running backs aren't performing as well against New Orleans. Like they're 26th in allowing fantasy points to running backs, meaning they're like one of the best. So that might just be due to game script or the way the games play out. But I'm also trying to not be a reactionary fantasy manager, meaning just because Christian Kirk had a bad week last week and Zay Jones went off, oh, now I'm going to bench him. Like, you got to stick with those boomer bust guys because you're going to miss out on the boom games if you don't. So, and it's full PPR. So I'm leaning. And also, let's say that both games were at 10 a.m. and I knew Fournette was out. Okay, maybe I go Rachaad White. But the fact that I have to wait till Monday night or like Monday to find out, I'm just going to roll with Kirk.
The fact that you have to wait till Monday is a huge indicator here in your decision-making process. And I have to agree. And you know what? I get it. You said Zay Jones had the big week. Kirk had the down week last week. But last week, or they had the bye. The week before that, which was week 10, both of them were fine fantasy plays. Christian Kirk went off for 40 fantasy points that game. Meanwhile, Zay Jones also had a nice, healthy fantasy finishing well. So I think there's a world, especially with the week Detroit matchup and the matchup overall in the coming weeks and as we head into the fantasy playoffs. Zay Jones and Christian Kirk are both viable guys. I think Trevor Lawrence can support two wide receivers. So, yeah, I like Christian Kirk this week. You've talked me into it. Certainly a fine play there. Nice job, Jacob. Nice job.
Yeah. I have another dilemma here.
Oh, please.
So I can only start 2 of these guys.
Okay, let's hear it.
No, I can only start 3 of these guys. 3 of these 4.
Okay.
And right now, one of them's Garrett Wilson. He's the one on my bench. Crazy, right? So it's DK Metcalf, Chris Olave, Chris Godwin, and Garrett Wilson.
Man, it's between Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave for me. You just don't bench your studs. Chris Godwin finally caught the touchdown last week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been, we've talked about him numerous times over the last couple of weeks. I like him a lot.
But can't you argue that Olave and Wilson are also studs?
Yes, but DK Metcalf and Godwin are certified studs.
Verified studs, yeah. And well, here's the thing. Garrett Wilson against Minnesota, who's been the 5th friendliest to wide receivers this year, or Olave against Tampa Bay, who's kind of mid-pack.
Man, to me, it's Olave. He's the odd man out here. He's the
Olave.
Chris Godwin better. Garrett Wilson better. DK Metcalf better. It's Chris Olave.
I feel like Olave this week. This is a classic example of Chris Olave will probably get you a solid 12 to 15 fantasy points, but Garrett Wilson can go for 30. You know what I mean? Like it's. Yeah, so I'm still torn. I'm keeping Olave in.
No,
Hold
no, you
on.
didn't listen.
It's also like it's not a must-win matchup anyway. So
still, you want to maximize your point potential here.
true. Very
All
true.
right, let's get to Terrell. Terrell, thanks for coming in, man. PPR flex. Oh wait, we got to pick one. Oh my goodness, Treylon Burks, Sutton, Gus, Edwards, Pacheco, or Xavier Knight. Immediately, I'm taking Sutton out of that equation, and I'm probably taking Gus Edwards out of that equation as well. It's between Burks, Pacheco, and Knight for me. Can we at least
the Ravens playing?
The Ravens are playing the Broncos, so it's an
Hmm.
intense matchup. Good defenses on both sides. Well, Broncos are the better defense, but still, you know what I mean. So it limits my options there. Sutton and Gus are just no goes for me.
I mean, Gus had 16 for 52 and a touchdown last week, but that was against Jacksonville. So
and that's not even that good, to be
no,
honest.
I know. No, it's not. But it's not. But like,
I get it. You want the volume. You want the guy that's going to get the carries. The Broncos defense is good, man. I'm scared of that. And I'm also scared of Russell Wilson. So Sutton's a no for me. So let's agree on 3. Burks, Pacheco, or Knight. What can we at least agree on those 3, or do you want to supplant Gus in there and take one out? I'll let you do whatever you want.
No, I would. Man, I'm a big fan of Treylon Burks. I really, really like him. But I might lean Pacheco just because he's a starting running back for the Chiefs.
He's not getting. This is a PPR league. He's not getting any passing down work.
But Burks, I believe Burks has a tough matchup this week. Let me see. I have him in a few leagues.
They play the Giants, right? Yeah. Pacheco.
They play Philly. They play Philly.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. I think I can rule out Burks there.
Like if Burks was playing Detroit, he would be the choice. But I'm gonna lean Pacheco just because the touches he's gonna get. Like, I know he's not going to get a lot of passing work, but he's going to get a lot of touches.
And if he continues to get those goal line carries that we've been seeing him get, 1-2 touchdowns may be in his favor this week. But of course, those are totally unpredictable. But let's just say this off the top: Pacheco 16 for 71, Gus Edwards against the stifling Denver Broncos defense 16 for 51. So 20 yards more. You're taking the points there. I like Pacheco this week over Gus Edwards. Knight, he's in that committee. We don't know if he goes off. That's great, but who knows how much work James Robinson gets. And the Jets are still in contention. It's not like they're just seeing what their rookies can do, like we're seeing in Los Angeles with the Rams. So I don't know. I'd go Pacheco too. So we're saying Pacheco over Burks, Sutton, Gus, and Knight. That's a tough call. Terrell, take it with what you got, man. Take it with a grain of salt. That's our thoughts there. It looks like we both are going that route, though. So good thoughts there, Jacob. And Terrell, it's the first time we've seen you before. So thanks, man, for coming out. We appreciate you. Be sure to like. Oh, that's not true. If Pacheco is the best of the 4 this week, we earn them here. So make sure you like and subscribe. If we get it wrong, come back next week. Give us another try. Okay. Ravens versus Broncos. Starju says Ravens will win this game. I don't doubt it because everybody's beating the Broncos, but it's the score to me. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. Even last week with the Ravens matchup, they didn't get going until the 4th quarter, and that was against a pretty juicy matchup in my opinion. And this matchup against the Broncos is just nightmarish. So I think it's going to be a grinded out game. I think it's going to be like a 12-7 game, 14-7 game. It's just going to be low scoring. But yeah, definitely Baltimore Ravens pull it out. Sergio says Lions 32, Jags 28, or 28-21 Lions. I'm going 28-21 Lions here. I like what they've been able to do. I like what the head coach is doing there. And before last week when they lost to the was it last week when they lost on Thanksgiving Day? No. That was 2 weeks ago. Did they win last week? Did the Detroit Lions win last week? I don't know. I think they lost. No, they were on bye. No, I don't know. But they've been playing good nonetheless. At least they're 3-2 to my knowledge in their last 5 games. And I like what they've been able to do. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate the comments. We are nearing down about 5 more minutes here. So let those questions come in. Jacob, will Mike White continue in week 2 his amazing quarterback play? Can you see a world where he gets, 25 fantasy points today? That's like 2 touchdowns, 250, add a couple of rush yards in there. Played a really good game last week. That puts him in the QB2 range.
I like Mike White, man. He showed us last week that he's ready to go. So I think he's going to be solid. I mean, I don't know about like in a 10-team league starter. I mean, unless you're desperate, but he's definitely a consideration.
Mike White or Marcus Mariota this week? Mike White at Minnesota, Marcus Mariota at Pittsburgh. These are the decisions people are making right now, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Mike White. I have a feeling that's going to be a high-scoring shootout. Even though the Jets defense is good, I don't think the Jets are going to have a problem scoring.
Mike White or Aaron Rodgers at Chicago?
This is crazy, but Mike White.
I think I'd go Mike White as well, even though I'm still on the Christian Watson train. Hoot, hoot. Let's see. Tyler Cooper says Everett versus the Raiders or Ingram versus Detroit. I like Gerald Everett, this man. If you watched the DFS clip this week, he was my budget tight end. I think he's a perfectly good candidate for finding the end zone, and that's what you're banking for when you're finding those budget tight ends. Everett for me this week. Ingram, he's got the touchdown, only one on the year, and he's been kind of phased out over the coming weeks, over the past few weeks. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. I'm going Everett versus the Raiders. Jacob?
Everett versus Raiders. I'll go Everett as well.
Let's see. Tyler Cooper says 10-4. No, 10-4 to you. Make sure to check out Facebook Gaming. Coach Coop, always out there getting chicken winter dinners. I said that backwards, but you know what I mean. He's playing PUBG over there. Carlos is God. Says, morning, fellas. Should I start George Pickens or Chris Olave this week? Non-PPR. That's a tougher one.
That changes the answer, to be honest.
In this situation, I kind of like Chris Olave.
Really? I actually go Pickens in this situation because Chris Olave is more of a PPR wide receiver. Pickens is more of a big play touchdown wide receiver. So
yeah, well, you know what?
Go with Pickens.
Pickens also has the Atlanta Falcons matchup this week.
Yeah,
you got to think this is a get right game for George Pickett. Carlos, we're both going George Pickens here. Yep. So thanks for coming out, Carlos. We appreciate you. If you're new to the channel, remember, if we get it right, you got to come back. You got to like and subscribe to the channel, man. If we get it wrong, come back next week. Give us another try. Okay?
I do want to say real quick before I forget, Gabe, I do want to remind viewers, and I do want to mention this on the pod. I went back and tracked all of mine and yours matchups throughout this whole entire fantasy season. So Gabe and I play in
6 leagues together.
6 leagues together, which is crazy. And throughout all those matchups, we've had 9 matchups, and Gabe currently holds the lead at 5-4. We have 2 matchups this week, so that can swing it. Gabe could be up 7-4 on me, or I could be up 6-5, or he could be up 6-5. So it can go either way. It'll be interesting to keep track of.
So many contingency. We have our dark horse records. We have our in-league records. We have our book it downs. We need to start finding rewards and punishments for these things, man. So we're getting together probably sometime soon, or at least a phone call, so we can get these situated. Because I'm tired of having no repercussions for how good I've been doing this week.
Should figure something out,
season. That's right. I said it with a little bit of confidence. Tyler Cooper says Jacob hates my players. No, he doesn't. He just hates you. Oh, just kidding.
No, never.
Obviously not. We're nearing down just on a couple of minutes here before we get out. And luckily, Carlos gets back in here to sneak in another question. Or would it be better if I was to bench Christian Watson and start Pickens and Olave? No, dude. I love Christian Watson. You are riding the wave. He's had the staircase of regression. 3 touchdowns 3 weeks ago, 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, 1 touchdown last week. I think he's still a prime play this week. Even with yardage alone, if he can go for 4 for 103 like we've seen him do the last 3 weeks without the touchdowns, that's still a great game that I think Pickens or Olave could possibly have. I love Christian Watson this week. I would start Christian Watson and Pickens in that situation. So, yeah, man. That's what I'm going. And also, this is non-PPR from what I remember. Christian Watson is a touchdown machine. 4 touchdowns over the last 3 weeks. You're riding that hot hand.
Watson and Pickens.
Carlos, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming out. Let's pick a game to win, Gabe and Jacob. I don't know. We only got about 30 seconds to do it, man. So let us
Yeah,
Let
if you
us
can
hear
name
it.
a game, but I do have one more start sit. So Antonio Gibson, he was questionable coming into this game, or Josh Palmer from Los Angeles Chargers.
Oof, I'm going
Because
Joshua Palmer.
there's a possibility that that Gibson like aggravates his injury, and then
Joshua
he's
Palmer.
out. Yeah, that's
You
tough.
were just doing that to say in your mind. Joshua Palmer was in your lineup before, right? No? Okay, yeah. I'm going Joshua Palmer there. Jonah
Waiting
Barley.
to hear an update on Gibson.
Yeah. He's officially active
first
today.
time viewer, or first time asker. Long time viewer, first time asker.
I was gonna say, who scores more fantasy points this week, Tua or Jimmy G? Dude, matchup of the week. I'm gonna be at a lunch.
This is how we end the show.
I'm gonna be at a lunch date with friends during this game, but I'm hoping they have it on because this is probably. Yeah, dude. When you're married,
that's what you call it. When you're 30 and married, you call them lunch dates.
But
now?
We're going out with another couple, so it's a lunch date with another couple. Anyways, I really hope they have this game on. It is literally the game of the season, in my opinion. People thought Niners Chiefs in Week 5 was game of the season. This is game of the season right here. I think there's a lot riding on this for both teams. I'm going Miami, baby. So obviously, more fantasy points on the Miami side for me. Jacob. Oh, but wait, he's asking specifically Tua or Jimmy G.
Who has more fantasy points? Tua.
Tua.
Man, that Niners defense, though. It's going to be close.
It's going to be close. He's not making a call. Jonah, we appreciate you coming by, man. Let's play a pick sometimes, dude. Don't be afraid to send that invite. Anyways, Tyler Cooper says, good luck to everyone's fantasy teams today. That's right. Good luck to everyone out there. We appreciate you stopping by today. Thanks so much for showing the love. Be sure to like and subscribe if we earned it from you. And if you're playing us, not good luck. You're going down today. You can find us anywhere in the social media space, including Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at First Round Fantasy. You can find us here on YouTube at First Round Fantasy. You can find us also most notably where you get your podcast, Spotify and Apple Premium. Thank you so much. Jacob, you ready to have a good fantasy day here today?
I hope so.
Good luck to your Niners. Are you ready to tune us out?
Yep, let's go.
Because here it goes, baby. Like I said, I referenced it just a minute ago. The game of the week. Miami Dolphins venture into San Francisco, and they lay the law down. The San Francisco Niners are going down this week, 31-21, Miami. Good luck, folks. Have a good week. Peace. Oh, peace again.